guys, Roxanne here from Tiny Home Living. Well, I'm just going to do a bit of an update because I feel like I'm missing out. Sorry about the wind. I know it's hard, it's almost impossible to make any video around here without wind. So yeah, I was just going to kind of do an update. There's so many things that we've gotten done around here. A couple days ago I got the hash gaps moved out of here. And boy, oh boy, that was a bigger job than I expected. My peppers are going great. I pinched the tops off. If any of you didn't see that last year, pinch these tops off and the peppers will go crazy bringing out. You can already see new shoots coming out there, out the sides. Transplanted a couple of my tomatoes that came up, and there's already little tomatoes on there. I trimmed it. And look at little tomato that I couldn't even see because of the leaves and branches, and lots of blossoms. Added some dirt to this one that I took the house gaps out of too, took peppers out of there, planted them outside. The lemon and lime trees are doing awesome. This is a Meyer lemon. I think I'm gonna have to water these again today. It's hard to even tell what's what here. I've got them all clumped together because I was trying to work in here to get this. Now this one is a key lime. This one has got the key lime and the Meyer lemon in it. This one is, I believe, Meyer lemon as well. And then this one is a regular lemon tree. Let me just see what the name is on it. Eureka lemon. Now I find it interesting that the lemon trees are all getting blossoms at the bottom. First there was like one or two, but look at how many there are in here now. Just amazing. Already a little lemon coming out right there. So, and then this lime tree in the background here, most of the blossoms have fallen off, so I'm hoping I'm going to see a bunch of limes pretty soon. But the growth on them, look at the top of this one. The growth is just amazing. So really, really happy with all these trees, and the smell is amazing too. Now it is a chillier day here today. It's 32 in here, so about 85 Fahrenheit. Yesterday it was 8 degrees Celsius here. It rained all day. It was 8 degrees Celsius, and so that is 46 Fahrenheit. So another thing we've done is we've started letting the meat birds free range, and they are loving it. So it was just getting too picked over in their little run there. I've got my peppers, like I said, transplanted out here. Now here's a better example. If you look at this, I pinched the top off this one, and look at it, gets new shoots all out the sides of the leaves. And you can see tiny little buds on this one. So it's starting to do the same thing. I planted all my onions in these pots and in these bins, and of course the rain that we got the other day kind of did weird things with the soil, packed it down really well, so I don't have to water it, that's for sure. But what we did yesterday, now the tree that I called the slingshot tree is no longer a slingshot tree. We watched a pruning video, and he basically said the tree would split in half here. And we now know why we were having so many problems with the weight on the ends of the branches. We had to prop them all up last year because we should have cut these branches back to one of these little buds. So we should have done that, but look how big the apples are getting already. So I am gonna have to thin these out. I did a little bit earlier today, but these branches are far too long, going way out here. So we might just nip these in half, the ones that don't have apples on the end, and then they'll be able to support the weight of these apples much better. I also got the haskaps planted outside. These are 3 of the biggest ones. And then got manure put around the rhubarb, which is apparently supposed to be good for it. This gooseberry is doing great. That's another one of the biggest haskaps, and these ones I could barely even see them in the pots behind the other ones. I have put stakes in the ground because I've already lost some of the signs on them, and I wanted to be able to know which ones are which. This one I will have to wait till there's berries to kind of try and identify the berries. The other thing I did the other day was dig up a whole bunch more of these poplar saplings, and we are going to go plant them on the other side of the property again. This 17 will do another 85 feet of the property length. So look at these happy little birdies. And I mean, there's lots of little grasshoppers here. We thought this tree was dead. It's not. It's got all kinds of shoots coming off it, so we will decide later if we're going to take all these branches off and just let this grow from the trunk, or what we're going to do. It seems like the top part of the tree is dead. Thought this one was dead too, and it's got shoots coming off of it as well. Could have been the dryness. This little tree I'm protecting with this little fence, and it is got tons of cherries on it. It had tons of cherries on it last year, but the chickens got them all. It's just a nice little chicken height tree. So this one we think is dead. Now the cherry tree, I think I have another month or so. I've got like one cherry here and one cherry here. The same thing happened with this tree. I basically had like 2 feet of growth last year, and I think these need to be cut back to about half, because if you get the fruit on the end, it basically it bends over like the apple trees were doing last year. So I did take the one branch off here that was rubbing against this bigger branch, and this pot in another month or so will take this huge branch off. So like he said, that'll let the sun into this tree, and then this will be our leader, I think. And then we'll have to cut those ones back to about half, so that this part of the tree will actually be our leader. It's sort of coming up from the center. And then I think we'll probably have to cut some of these back to about half as well. They're just they grew 2 feet last year, and like he said, if the weight, it'll just pull them down like this. These shorter ones I'll be able to leave. I pruned a little bit of dead stuff off them too, but mostly just cutting these back to about half. The raspberries, I had mowed them all down and they seem to be coming up, although sort of intermittent, but not seem to have a lot of luck, and I have no idea why that one's way over there. Do you feel like you're in the way? So again, I've got onions in all of these big pots, transplanted my peppers from the greenhouse out to here. I'll be able to put tomato cages on these to support them. And again, oh, this is the only one that doesn't have onions. I put some peas in here just to see if I could get it growing on a tomato cage and see what happens. So the meat birds are basically coming and going. Some of them stay in there, but you can see how beat down the dirt is now. There's not much left for them to pick, so they are going off into on the other side of the tree line here where the grass is really nice, and they go into the field. One over there. We have to go and herd them back over here at night, but they're getting a little bit better at coming back themselves. But they are just loving this. Really good for them too, I think. These meat birds are, like I say, they're the ones that are so notorious for getting so fat so quickly that they can't even walk. So this being able to move and walk and get lots of exercise as well as lots of bugs and everything is really, really good for them. You can see how sparse the grass is in here now. So, you know, they still like to scratch in the dirt and pick the bugs, and I think there's lots of little grasshoppers around. But I'm really happy to let them out and get into the green grass and clover and everything now. This little guy's got this area all to him, I guess, herself. We haven't been able to, look how excited they get when we come over. We've been letting these guys out to free range in the evenings after the big birds go in, but I think we're going to be able to let these guys out with the bigger birds pretty soon. And you can see how big these turkeys are getting. Chris had to call one of these. We tried and tried and tried to fix its leg, and we just weren't as successful, and it was suffering, and I just can't stand to see them suffer. So he had to call it, and had to do that with one of the little meat birds the other day too, so we're down to 48. Now this I am super excited about. I think we need a few more staples down this row. But you can see I wet the ground before we planted again this year, and that is really the trick with this fabric, because the dirt was so dry it was like silt. And what happens is, you know, you put the seeds in, you water them, and then they get watered down and they're under the fabric here. We still have to go around and sort of get, you know, the bean leaves and things like that out. I believe this is turnip. That's my first turnip that I've seen come up. So I think there are some coming. They're a little slower, but the corn, you know, was just the tiniest little shoot, and they are coming up really well. Again, we're going to have to come along with some staples here, I think, because you can see how it's kind of blowing up too high. So these ones are kind of under. There were 2 or 3 holes that nothing came up, so I added some seeds in there. Oh yeah, look at that over there. I'm gonna have to go get Chris to get this fixed. This too. Guess we didn't pull it tight enough. That's not good at all. So this is turnips. This is carrots in this row, I think. Where are the carrots? This was the row of peas that didn't come up. So I planted another batch. This, can't remember, I don't have my chart with me, but this shouldn't be coming up like this. You can see how the peas are not even out in the sun because of the wind. So I'm gonna have to stop what we're doing and fix this now. This row is beans. They're doing pretty good. And, or no, this is, I think this is the pickling cucumbers in this row. This is beans. This is tomatoes. And because this is Alberta, I think we're going to have to transplant these into pots to put in the greenhouse. They'll never be ready in time to harvest. Look at how that fabric is blowing up like that because of the wind. I'm gonna have to fix that. And the same here. These leaves are big enough now. This is cantaloupe right here. No, these ones are pumpkin. These ones that we can't see now because the fabric is going up, they were all showing, are cantaloupe. And then only 1 cucumber came up, so I planted some more cucumbers at the end. But all in all, pretty darn happy with this. The beans are doing the best. Looks like that one's a weed, that one's a tomato. To me they look a lot alike, except this one has like leaves that are sort of crooked. But anyway, there are some tomatoes coming up. We didn't plant 2 rows this time, just 1 row. But you can see how we've got to get this stapled down. So these, I think I did every 3 holes for the cucumbers. But you can see how not having enough staples, these are not sticking out. Gotta fix that. I opened the little door down there to let the turkeys out, and then they follow me but on the other side of the fence. Silly turkeys. See, they're almost as big as the adult chickens now. You guys have to come out this way, silly. These turkeys are hilarious. They follow us everywhere like we're the Pied Piper, especially Chris. They like him better. What do you think? We get some work done? These guys just realized the door is open. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Not too sure about these big roosters. I think we're going to have to get rid of a couple. No, don't pick at my feet. But they are actually getting bigger than the hens now. So let these guys out. Start letting them out during the day. We've been letting them out in the evening when the other guys are gone to bed. Now we actually put the potatoes under dirt again this year with the diatomaceous earth because the mice and slugs were getting them so badly. You can see how this row is doing really well. That row pretty good too. But we only put this the straw on a few days ago, maybe a week ago, and you can see there's a big one coming out of there. They're popping up through the straw like crazy. We went through this patch and pulled all the thistles because there were so many. And look at these guys. They're gonna follow me now. They just realized I had left them. These little evergreens are doing awesome. Even the scraggly looking ones have some new growth on them. So what I was saying before my battery ran out was we didn't put straw in the whole thing. We basically left walkways in between the rows basically so that we could tell where the rows were. But we planted way more potatoes than we need or want. But somebody can always use some potatoes, right? Sadie's staying inside. The bad rooster comes right in the house now if he sees the door open. Yes, the other day he jumped right on her back again. Bad rooster. I think you need a soup pot. That one's attacking me sometimes too. Well, they're loving the clovers, what they're doing. Anyway, my tree pruning helper is waiting for me. Yeah, it started raining a little bit earlier when we were going to come out, so I'm going to try and get this done now. So this cherry tree, I think we're going to have to cut back these longest branches because they're just way too long. So this guy was saying basically find, like, this is sort of a longer branch and go like right above it. And yeah, pretty much all of them, I think. So find like the longest, well, they're all about the same on this one, so maybe just right there. Not my finger. And I guess the same with all of these. Maybe that one right here, down here. Yeah, there's so many, it's kind of hard to. This one is, now this one's got, this is the longest branch, so I think right above it, right there. Oh, it looks like it's so butchered, but now this one, again, they're all sort of the same length. I don't know if it really matters. This one's a little longer, but maybe do right above this one. Not my finger. Yeah, I think that one needs to be done too. Just any one, I think. Maybe this one right here. It's got more leaves on it. Ouch. Okay, yeah, this one's got some dead stuff on the end, and that's a nice long piece right there, so. Okay. Oh, I guess we cut some that was on the new tree, but this one, I think, oops, stepping on chickens everywhere we look now. I think this one definitely needs to be cut, maybe right there. And this is going to be the leader for that new tree, so I think we'll leave it. Now, this stuff that grew so long last year, I think we'll do. There's like a nice long one right there, so how about we do right above it? Yeah, right there. Okay. I think the same with this one. I mean, I think, yeah, right there I think is good. There's so much growth and they're so healthy that you can almost pick any spot on the tree, on the branch. This one here definitely needs to be cut back. Maybe way back to here. Okay, because then I think the idea too is so that the sun can get into the inner branches too. This one here definitely needs to go. And that's a really nice long ones there, so maybe right there. Because it's got little branches going in every direction there. Yeah. Yeah, that one I think could be cut back to here. This one needs to go. And it's split up there. No, I think we need to cut it back sort of. There's a long one there. Okay. think this one needs to be cut about half. And this is going to end up being our leader, so I think we need to cut this one right off. Yeah, see now the center of the tree, it's kind of off to the side, but this will become the leader, this one here. And then I think we should maybe cut this one back to about half. So pick any spot, I guess, except where my finger is. Okay, now the tree really looks butchered, but basically with those branches coming way out here, the fruit just is going to break the branch right off once it gets... Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah. And we didn't even have to cut them off. Oh yeah. So, I don't know. I think maybe we'll leave this big one here because it's kind of going off in a different direction. So we've got the leader now, which is going to be that one. And there was one rubbing against that big branch, so I took it off yesterday. And then this is going to be the leader for this new tree that comes off with this pot. And then once that pot comes off, that whole part being gone is going to let the sun come in to all these inner branches. So that the sun can come into the inside of the tree, basically. Oh, I don't know. This is going to be the new tree, but I think maybe we should take a bit of it off, like maybe right above that one. Yeah. Okay, and then I think that, like I say, that'll be the leader for this new tree, I think. It'll come up here. That'll be the leader, and then there's a branch going off each side, and then this other one here. So I think that's it for the cherry tree. Oh, look at my entourage. Just don't be jumping in the bins. Oh, look at the little chickens right in there with them. Don't be picking on, hey, don't be picking on the little ones. Oh, isn't that awful? They might have to go back in the pen. Now this is one of the apple trees that we had so much trouble with last year because of exactly what this guy was saying. First of all, the leader is this part that's bending way over here. So I think we're going to get these poles are not high enough anymore. We're going to stake it up straight. And then these branches that we've let grow way out here are going to have to be cut back to like here so that there isn't so much weight on there. Maybe even, I don't know, maybe cut it back to there, or do you think we should go to this branch?
Right there.
Okay, because that's got a nice shoot going off that way.
Nice apples there too.
Yeah. And with this one, we're actually not cutting any apples off. The apples are right here. So now this branch is going to be able to support the weight of those apples a lot better. Yeah, look at the apples are even turning red now. I think this one maybe, do you think we should leave it or cut it back to about half?
Oh, well, that's new growth there. I think we'll go to here.
Okay. Look at those.
Let some sun in.
Yeah, and look at the, see that where you thin these, see how this one is so puny, you just flick it and it just falls off. And then what happens is these apples will end up being much bigger and healthier. Same with here. This one...
Yeah, they're good.
Chris doesn't like me taking any of them off, but you have to. Okay, so this one here, this has to come back to about half, Chris. Maybe right back to there, yeah. And you can see how this apple is so tiny. You just bend it and that comes off, and then these two apples will get much bigger. See how this one is sort of like misshapen? So you just bend it like this a little bit. I think last year they said online to take 3 out of 6 apples off. Yeah, no, this one, yeah, that definitely needs to be cut back to this one here, I think. Yeah. So you can see how this branch is going to be able to bear the weight of those apples. Yeah.
Not got apples. This doesn't.
Yeah, this has apples, this has apples. No, that has apples. Yeah. I think we'll leave that for this year anyway. What about this, all this stuff coming out of here? Should we just take one? Yeah. Okay, now what else here? This branch has way too much weight on it, so I don't know.
Both going up.
Yeah, they're both going up. This one's much better. I think we pruned it last year.
This, I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if we should just take that off.
Yeah.
So I mean, even just doing some of this and standing on this side of the tree, again, here's a bunch where you can see how much bigger these ones are, and this little tiny one, just bend it backwards a little bit and it just falls off so easily. So you do that to sacrifice the little mangy ones, and then these ones will get much bigger. Look at that bunch there. Now, look at that little tiny branch has an apple on it. Not too sure. I think that maybe this one should come back to about half, Chris. And there's no apples on that one either, so might be a good one to do. And what about up there? That's really going high. Maybe here? That was almost my finger. So basically this should be the leader, and it's bent right over. So we're gonna try and tie this up, put something to keep the bark from wearing or getting damaged, and get this to stand up so that it's more like a leader. And I think we had this all braced last year and we took it off when we were getting the apples. But I think that might be as much as we want to do on this tree right now. I mean, that branch there supporting one apple is going to be hard enough. And I can't remember if we're supposed to take all these little suckers off either. This one could probably be cut back. So there's, you can see how it's bending and going way over here. And that needs to be standing straighter up. But that's quite a bit we took off that one. Leave that one for now, I think. You can see how just this little shoot going off this branch, how long it is. So I think we'll cut that back right there. I wonder if we need to take any of the bigger.
This one supposed to be less than half or a third.
Oh, I see.
This one's smaller.
Yeah.
That one.
That one's way too big.
Yeah, because it's catching up.
It doesn't have too many apples. Yeah, see, basically, if you look at this one, it's supposed to be a third of the thickness of this one. Or less. So if you look at it, it's going way up there, and it's almost the same height as the leader, which is the center part here. So yeah, I think we will take that big branch off. We're still going to get a lot of apples out of this tree. This was the one we just planted, and it was covered in blossoms.
I think it needs some oil. There.
Okay.
That'll let more light.
Yeah. And the sun is this way, so that'll let a lot more sun into the tree there, into the interior of the tree. So we're basically wanting to look at the ones that, like this, that are so long, and again, they're going to bend right over. So I'm thinking maybe wear this. Yeah. Oops, I should have. There we go. This one here I think needs to go about half. Getting awful close to my fingers there. That one? Yeah, that one's awful long, isn't it? That's a nice branch there, so. I think this one here needs to go back to about here, right where the apples are. Yeah, you can see how much sun that lets in there. And I think this one. Yeah, I wonder if we should just take this one off or take this one off. Okay. Because these are crossing and getting tangled, so taking that one off, and then you can see how it lets the sun in. Now, it's the ones way up there that I wonder if we should. This one here is definitely in the way. Yeah. And this one doesn't have any apples on the end of it, so maybe go above those, that, right above this longer one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This one's so tall that it's hard to get to the top ones. Yeah, that's good. And then I think this one right here, Chris? Yeah. Because see, we've got two nice branches going in either direction there. No, I think that's the leader, so we should just leave it. This one here, I think, could come back to this branch. And let's find a nice branch. This one, maybe? Or maybe we should go back to this one. See, basically you want the branch to be strong enough to hold the weight of that fruit. So, that one over there I think could be cut back.
Right off?
Yeah, maybe cut that one right off because there's a good one above it. Yeah, what about this one? I think that's about enough for that, eh? It's half the tree gone. But we kind of did that without really sacrificing any apples. So the only thing, I think this one here might be way too thin.
There's an apple here, so we'll just go.
Yeah, let's go there then. Oh, it looks so sad now, but it'll make all of these branches stronger and easier to support the weight. And we really, other than that first big branch, I don't know if there was even any apples on that. We didn't sacrifice any apples. So now it's going to be able to bear the weight of the apples a lot better. If these guys can't see us, they wander off. They start all screeching and whining like they're worried they can't find us. So we're going to go try and plant those trees. It'll be interesting to see if they follow. Yep, I guess they're going to follow. Maybe not every time I say that they decide not to. And then they'll be over here screeching and because they can't find us. So basically what we're trying to replicate is that tree line. So over here where there's nothing. Oh, I forgot to mention a little bit of excitement last week. There were some folks on the road on their quads and the guy came in the driveway and said, there's a fire back there. We couldn't see it because of this hill and then the hill on our property. We were in the driveway doing something. And there was some peat back there behind his little house here that had been smoldering since the fire. So there was no way for the fire trucks to get in. He's away and his gate's locked. So we had to cut our barbed wire fence for all the fire trucks to get through and go put the fire out again. I mean, it's a good thing the grass was green and everything wasn't so dry, because his little house could have been gone, along with everything else this time. And it was another windy day, of course. So now this is a sorry looking thing. This is one of the ones we already planted. But the thing with these is, now here's the next one. You can see it's already got some new growth. The thing with these is they're just like weeds. That one's really sorry looking too. But we're gonna leave them and see what happens, because these are basically weeds. And this one, they had pretty good root balls on them. There's actually a little bit of new growth on that one. Oh, until I broke it. So we are gonna leave them. This one's still got some green leaves on it. And the odd one actually looks really good. Not those ones. This one still got green leaves on it and new leaves on the top. So these will end up, that one looks pretty sorry, but it's got a green leaf on it. These will end up spreading like weeds, just like on the other side of the property line. And hopefully, you know, it's filling this whole area. And then what we're going to do is go to Bob and Rita's and dig up little evergreens and plant an evergreen in between each one. Maybe it'll be a tree line before we die, who knows. But like I say, some of them are pretty sorry looking, but it has been dry. We have been coming over and watering them. So hopefully they'll make it. If not, it's not really that big a deal. A little bit of blood, sweat, and tears. Another thing I did with this currant bush and the one over there is a friend told us to put sod on a couple of the branches, lay them down on the ground, put sod on them, and we've been watering them too. You'll get new plants. It doesn't look like a lot, but these ones are a lot healthier looking than the first ones. We had such hot weather after them. But that's from the hill there, all the way past this bush. So that's, you know, we'll probably go another 100 feet to that trailer. And I'd like to go from the hill back too, but I don't know if that's going to get done this year. I could hear these guys all screeching for us from way over there. They were in the meat bird run, all huddled together, all making the same noise that they make when they can't find us. They found the clover now. They want to follow me right inside, for Pete's sake. No, 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 no. No turkeys in the house. Oh, this the 20-footer. Whatever. Get. I'm gonna get these steel toes off. I figured out that jumping on shovels is a lot easier with steel plates than it is with these rubber shoes. I come around the corner and there were 4 turkeys in the house already, weren't there? They were all coming in. Pretty scary for a little puppy. No turkeys in the house. Look at this. Now these ones are having fun too. They're liking the tree line as well. So they'll do the same thing as the other clutch that we hatched. They kind of stick to themselves for a while, and then they'll start mingling more and more. I don't know if I mentioned in the other video, that is Desi, Viv, Lucy. The Rhode Islands, the new ones are Laverne and Shirley. That's Fred. And, no, that's Wilma. That's Fred and Barney. This is Chrissy. Where's Wilma? No, that's Betty. This is Wilma. So Fred, Barney, Betty and Wilma. Snow and White are the 2 white ones. Yeah, I know, they're corny names. You can tell what era we were born in, can't you? The only one that's the oddball is my little Chrissy, named after my friend Christine. So they're liking digging in this pile too. We need to add to it pretty soon, but definitely not a priority right now. Oh shoot, I forgot we need to get some more staples in this fabric. Better go get Chris before I forget. That's enough hard labor for an old woman today, especially after the day before yesterday. Everything hurt after that. But got the trees pruned. Got to get the braces on these 2 apple trees. And then I think that's going to be it. I put ribs in the oven, making some kefir. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please give us a thumbs up. It really helps. We'll see you next time.